Hi, I appreciate you being here today. Blessed Tuesday. My goodness, I hope you've had a great weekend. I hope things are going well with you. I hope that life is treating you well. And let me tell you something, you're going to be blessed by my guest today. He is my friend of over 40 years. He is one of those people that the Lord will place in your life. He has placed in my life that will be friends with you through the ebbs and flows of life. You need at least one person in your life that will share with you and tell you not necessarily what you want to hear, but what you need to hear. He's going to bless you by his testimony. You stay tuned. Call your friends, call everybody, and join us. Well, hello, everybody, and welcome again to another edition of Defining Moments. I'm your host, Larry Nix, and I appreciate you being here. Happy Blessed Tuesday. And my goodness, the last time we saw one another, it was October, and now it is November. My goodness, can you believe that we're like 3.5 weeks out, Kim, from saying Happy Thanksgiving? And then like next month is going to be Christmas, and then after that, we're going to be saying Happy New Year's. Oh, my goodness. It seems that when you're young or younger, time just drags on like molasses. And then the older you get, it's like hyperspeed. It's like, where did that time go? I want to thank each of you for joining us. I know that some of you join us live. Some of you come in and you come in and you join us through the archives and the podcast through the archives and the various platforms that we're on. I just want to let you know I appreciate you, whether you're joining us on our radio station, 104.3 FM, those of you that are living in the Jackson metropolitan area. We have a lot of delivery drivers that listen to us, and you let us know when we're in the marketplace. I'm grateful for that. And then those of you who watch us on our network, ignitems.tv, whether it's our podcast or our radio program, I'm grateful for that. I laugh all the time because even when I'm talking, our producer, Kim, she is like Kim on the spot. She's there before I get there, all right? I appreciate you joining us on our newly launched network, ignitems.tv. We launched that in June, and we're building that out, and we appreciate your support on that. We also invite you to go to YouTube and subscribe to our YouTube channel, all right? We're on YouTube, we're on Facebook, we're on Apple, iTunes, Pandora, any major digital network, we're on it. Defining Moments with Larry Nix. I really appreciate you being there. Thank you very much for your support. Listen, let me tell you something. You haven't seen nothing yet. We have a lot more things in store that's going to come onto our network, ignitems.tv. We have a kids program. I am really excited about this kids program. In fact, I'm going to start promoting it probably in about 2 weeks. It is so, man, listen, the host of our program, I'm just going to butter you up a little bit. Touch of Christ, that's the name of the program. And our host is so gentle. He is so smart. Listen, you just stay tuned. I'm going to try to work it out that maybe I can do a sneak peek with him being on my program, and we'll talk about the launch of his program. But it's so sweet, and I can hardly wait to launch his program on our network. I want to let you know also, make sure you join us every Wednesday at 11 o'clock on ignitems.tv, particularly for this program tomorrow and all of our episodes of Defining Moments with Larry Nix. You go to that platform, ignitems.tv, and you can look and stream through all of the programs, all of the episodes of Defining Moments that we've had. I just want to let you know I appreciate you. I appreciate you supporting our efforts. It's all about ministry. It's not about me. It's all about the Lord. It's about building his kingdom. Our goal is to inspire, is to encourage, even to challenge you to embrace the divine purpose that God created you for, knowing that you are not here accidentally, incidentally, but you were providentially created for God's glory, to enjoy God's glory and to serve him in the majesty of who he is. I am so delighted to have my friend of over 40 years. He is one of the busiest people that I know. And in fact, probably 90% of the time that I'm talking to him, he's either in his vehicle, in a hotel, in the airport, on an airplane, going or coming. But the fact that he paused, it took me 6 months to get him here, but he finally got here, and I'm grateful for that. Richard Wesley Lynn, born in Augusta, Georgia, is a pastor, philanthropist, medical professional, motivational speaker, community activist, life coach, author of the inspiring book Holding On When It Doesn't Look Good, and host of the podcast Real Talk with Dr. Lynn. Dr. Lynn is a product of Augusta, Georgia public school system, and also he received his degree from Morris Brown College in Atlanta, Georgia. He is married to Kyla, which happens to be my wife's best friend, and together they have two wonderful children, Richard, 2, and Ryla, a wonderful daughter-in-law, not daughter-in-law, daughter-in-law, Tara, and their precious granddaughter that can get anything out of him that she wants, even his 401k. she's probably the benefactor of that right now. Dr. Lynn has led and sit on several boards to include being a board trustee with Jackson Public Schools and board member of Unite Mississippi. He is the dean of the doctoral program at New Foundational Theological Seminary and is the initiator in partnership with Unite Mississippi and Hines Community College of the Dr. Richard Lynn Unite Mississippi Scholarship. He currently serves as senior pastor of Morning Star MB Church in Utica, Mississippi. His motto is, while achieving my own goal is important, most importantly, I love helping others achieve theirs. I am delighted to have my friend, my brother, Dr. Richard Lynn, on Defining Moments. Man, when do you ever find time to sleep? You don't.
On the way.
On the way.
Mostly on the way.
I know, man.
And sometimes when I'm sitting down like now.
Yeah. Well, that's why I got you coffee so you wouldn't go to sleep.
Yeah. So that's the reason. But, yeah, I find time for that.
I read your resume, Richard, and your resume is very expansive. Man, you've done it. He's done a whole lot through your life. But when I consider where you are, you're an academia. You're a dean, you're a professor, you've started, you write curriculums for the seminary in terms of discipleship. That's where you are now, and you're a medical professional. You're over medical facilities. In how many states are you in charge of now?
Well, just now, 2 states.
So, two states, but then how many hospitals?
Only 8 hospitals.
Only 8. Okay.
Yeah.
But the reason why I point that out is because if you had written that story when you were a teenager, it wouldn't have been this story, because you were on the trajectory towards playing NFL football.
Oh yeah. If you were to look backwards and look at the beginning of my life, basically, in my career, that's where it would have started from.
Yeah.
And not one time could somebody tell me that I would be sitting here today
in Mississippi.
Yeah, and doing what I'm doing now.
Yeah.
So
you authored a book, and of course, it's over my shoulder, Holding On When It Doesn't Look Good. You've had that seemed, and I've read the book, but that seemed to be an inspiration for your own life. Mm-hmm. That you're not writing from an academic standpoint, you're writing from an experience standpoint.
Oh yeah, everybody goes through some stuff in their lives, and I knew that growing up in Augusta, Georgia, 10 children, family of 10, 8 boys and 2 girls. So, and I'm number 7. Number 7 is significant.
That's right.
Bible.
So am I, by the way.
Oh, bless you.
You knew that.
No wonder we are so.
That's
close
right.
Together.
We're twain together.
So, but coming from a family, living in the projects and stuff, we didn't have a lot, but we had what we needed, and so it all started there. with the foundation that mom and dad had and raising the kids and instilling in us Jesus the Christ. And my mom would always say to us that don't worry, we're gonna be okay in Jesus' name. She will always in our conversation bring up the name of Jesus. So that was instilled in me. And Larry, I don't think I ever told you this, but when I grew up, we didn't know we were poor. We didn't know that. We didn't know living in the projects with 10 kids. Okay, we didn't realize because everybody around us were in the same condition that we were in the project. So we didn't realize that we were poor. Daddy was working, truck driver, doing the best he can. My mom had to go out and clean houses just to get extra funds to bring in the food and stuff. And then the things that my granddaddy had, he had a farm where we would go to the country and get some vegetables and stuff so that we can have stuff to eat. But through all of that, I didn't know we were poor until I came to Mississippi and I realized where I was and what I was going through and what I saw and all of that. And it hit me, and I realized then, I said, wow. When I used to tell people, they said, where you from? And I used to tell them where I was from, but I didn't know I was poor during that time.
How important, Richard, because it seemed to me what you're suggesting is that you had the love of your mom and dad, and I had the privilege of knowing your mom and dad. They're in heaven with the Lord now.
Yes.
But I had the privilege of knowing them. They were engaged.
Yes.
They were busy. They were busy keeping the lights on.
That's right.
And keeping the children healthy and clothed and fed, but they were engaged.
That's right.
How important is it for parents, even though they have responsibilities to take care of their children, how important is it for parents to be engaged in the lives of their children?
Well, as I told you, mom and dad had 10 kids, and dad stayed at work a lot because he was a truck driver, so he had to stay on the road from time to time. But Mom did what she had to do. Mom was a maid. She went from house to house to clean houses, okay, so that we can have enough money to put food on the table. And that, I did not realize how important that was to take care of your family and be as dedicated as she and my dad was until after I lost my 5 restaurants that I owned. That was one of the things that hit me hard was, Lord, how was I going to take care of my family? And when I lost those 5 restaurants, I had nothing. And so I took on a job as a salesperson, and not one time in my life before then have I sold anything outside of what I had at the restaurants. But I didn't have a clue on how I was going to make it. Didn't have a clue. Kids were in private school at the time that I lost those 5 restaurants.
Remember?
5 restaurants, lost them all. And I said to somebody, I was walking around with thousands of dollars before that happened in my pocket, and it was just a thing to me. But then I went from that to having nothing and having to figure out how I was going to pay for tuition for private school for my 2 kids. And so I went to sell cars, I sold restaurant equipment, and did what I had to do. But the one thing I did not give up on, it was depressing. One thing I did not give up on, and that was talking to Mom. Mom would say, trust Jesus. Baby, trust Jesus. I'm praying for you. God's going to work it out. And so I still have this check stub that I had at one of the places that I went to work after I lost those restaurants. In 2 weeks, I was bringing home $124 for those 2 weeks. That's what I brought home. That's what my check said. How do you make it with 2 kids in private school with $124?
And there was a time you used to tip people $124 when you went out to eat.
I would do stuff like that. I would give people, if I knew somebody needed some help, I would give it to them. Now, yeah, I walked around with $1,000 in my pocket, but I would give it away if somebody needed it. It didn't bother me. That's who I was, and that's what I was doing. So, yeah, it was something.
So it's interesting that you would bring that up because you talked about and you kind of leapfrog, and that was good. You kind of leapfrog the fact that you lost the restaurant, but you've had episodes along the way
Mm-hmm.
that the Lord, looking back now, that the Lord has pruned your life, because way before then, you tore up your knee. You were on your way to playing. What you experience is kind of unheard of. I was talking earlier before our podcast off air that in one of your football games, it is on still being held as record. You scored six touchdowns in one half, and the coach pulled you out.
Yeah.
Let's talk about how you got started in career and where you had that trajectory and got until God interrupted it.
Well, first of all, John, I never should have been playing football. I'll say that because I had asthma, and the doctor said that, hey, you will never be able to run like little boys your age. And so, but that didn't faze me. I mean, I was at school one day, and we were out playing at recess, and the physical education coach said, hey, let's play some football. So we played football, and I just ran past. The first time I touched the ball, I just ran past everybody. So he put his hands on his hip. So he called the high school coach, and the high school coach came over, as I said, and the high school coach saw the same thing. And so he invited me to come to practice on the high school side.
Ladies and gentlemen, my guest, my friend, Dr. Richard Lynn is my guest. You stay tuned. He has an incredible testimony that's really going to bless you. Stand by. So the first time you put on a uniform and touched the ball, you ran 98 yards.
Oh, yeah.
Unscathed, untouched.
Nobody touched me. Nobody touched me. I was running for my life. That's what I didn't want nobody to tackle me, man. I didn't want to hit the ground, So I was running for my life. I did not realize what I was really doing. And same thing when I got to the
like Forrest Gump. You were just running.
Yeah.
Forrest Gump.
Yeah. I had a ball in my hand.
Go.
And I was gone. And the same thing happened in high school. I mean, nobody would touch me. Once I get past that line of scrimmage, nobody would touch me. I would be gone. And so it was just something that I didn't love the game, but I didn't like being at home all the time either. I loved being around my friends. So that's why I kept playing the game.
That was your motivation.
Yeah.
I want you to hold your thoughts. Wow. Hey, thank you for joining me on Defining Moments. I'm your host, Larry Nixon. I'm here with my my bestest friend, my bestest buddy. He's been hanging with me, putting up with me for over 40 years. Sister Winsley, thank you so much for joining us. You and Brother Deacon Winsley, loved seeing you. It was good seeing you at church on Sunday. So let me ask you this. Before you move forward with just your story and your journey, which is one of encouragement and inspiration, for those people that feel beat down, ostracized, they feel worthless, they feel like they can't get up, they've been hit, their dreams have been dashed, they're obliterated. They feel as though there's no hope. Based upon your story, how would you encourage them? I want you to look at it and just to encourage them.
Well, the first thing I would say is that to have hope, you got to realize who you have hope in, and who do you have hope in. I came through a situation where I had to have hope. I grew up with hope being Jesus Christ, because that's what Mom and Dad taught me, is just to have hope in Christ. And so when you get to a point in your life where you realize that, hey, I can't do no more than what I'm doing. Well, have you ever thought about just stepping aside and let Jesus do what he needs to do to get you out of that? And that's the piece of the puzzle that most people mix. God said, I'll never leave you or forsaken you. And he'll never bring you to a point where he's not going to be able to get you out of it. It's his time. And that's what red lights are for. It's for you to stop. And so God can take over. And when you see the green light, that means that God has taken over. Now he's taking you. So sometimes the reason why we're at a point where we are now is because we'll keep going and we won't stop at the red light so that God can take over.
The red light is for a purpose.
Yes.
To stop and observe.
Right. That's
the
right.
oncoming traffic.
That's right. You notice when you stop at a red light, there's caution. There's something different. It's different at a red light when the light is red versus when the light is green. When the light is red, there's caution and there's build up. But when it's green, you feel free.
Yeah.
You feel like you can go.
Yeah.
But that green light is God telling you, I got you. Come on.
It's time to go.
Yes.
But there are red lights and there are green lights and then there are caution lights.
Yes.
And I'm learning 40 years later, or the age you are now, all that you've gone through, and I'm not gonna do the, I'm not gonna do the cheat note on it. I'm gonna let you tell the story. But all that you've gone through, the ebbs and flows of life, the storms,
Right.
have been to get out of you writing books, helping write curriculums for seminaries. All of that has been, all you've gone through has been to help you be efficient in your ministry.
All my life, Larry, I had been running. Okay, football was about running. When I ran track, coach taught me in the running track. I ran, but I never knew the purpose. And I say that saying to myself, I never knew what my purpose was. I was running, and I was always good at running. And then as I got older and God took me through life and I lost all of this stuff that I thought was going to last eternal with me, it was for a purpose. And the purpose was God told me, and he allowed me to run like I did and do the things that I did for me so that I can have some satisfaction and I can get used to the fact that I need to stay on the go. I need to be running. Now what he did and the purpose of all of that, what I see happening in my life now, the running was to get me prepared.
I want you to tell the people about your because you were nationally recruited.
Yes.
You were so good. Tell the story.
Well, one of the coaches at Dallas Cowboy came to visit me when I was in college, and just showed up.
But prior to you getting to college, I want you to talk about that. All the offers that you had.
Well, yeah, I think I had 36 scholarship offers.
That's unheard of.
And so, all of the major schools, Notre Dame, UMC, USC, UCLA, all of the big schools, Georgia Tech, all of them. And I actually signed with Clemson. And so, but I never been away from home at that time by myself. Never did that. So I signed with Clemson, went to practice, stayed there for probably a couple of weeks, I think. And then I walked out. I couldn't take it because I wasn't used to being away from my family. So I went back home, and my brother,
back to Augusta.
Yeah, went back to Augusta. My brother that lives in Atlanta said, "Hey, why don't you come to Morris Brown? You had an offer there." So we called the coach there. The coach said, "Well, I've given away all of my scholarship, but I can get you in. You won't have to pay anything. You just be on the academics type," because I was pretty decent in school. So he got me in on that and did pretty well. Freshman year started, sophomore year started, did well. Junior year, did well. Coach came from Dallas Cowboy, came to recruit me, to look at me. We were on the field. I was running 40-yard dash, tried to make a turn, and tore my knee up.
Oh, my goodness.
And so that ended the career of football.
How heartbroken were you?
It was terrible. It was terrible because the coach told me we're going to draft you, and he told my college coach we're going to draft him, and I can tell you that if he stays where he is now, we're going to draft him.
So let me ask. Okay, so I'm going to take advantage of the fact that you're a theologian now. What do you do with depression? 'Cause depression is real. And I don't take light of that. What do you do when your heart has been broken? What do you do when your dreams have been shattered? What do you do when things of life are not going the way you think they ought to go, and you think you've lost time, and you know, what do you do? How do you encourage people
Well,
based upon your
to
situation?
me, depression is a byproduct of no hope. I I had to have hope.
Wait a minute. Depression is a byproduct of hopelessness,
Yes, yes.
feeling that you don't have hope. Wow.
The the book that I wrote, one of the books that I wrote, Holding On When It Don't Look Good. That's one of the reasons why I wrote that, because so many people have lost hope, and so many people are saying to themselves, "There's no way I'm gonna get out of this. I don't see it." My wife used to say when we were struggling, when I didn't have a job and all of this, I used to tell her that we're gonna be okay. She said, "I don't see it." That's what she used to tell me. And I said, hope is not what you see. You can't see it. You just gotta believe it. And so what I would share with people is to know that, listen, you can't base success on what you're seeing or what you're looking at the moment. It has to be a desire of what you want and who you believe that's going to help you get to that point.
Wow.
And so
That's a word.
I've had to learn the hard way that if I'm going to have hope, well, who will I have my hope? Not what do I have my hope in, but who did I have my hope in? Because what I have my hope in can go away. It's tangible.
Or change.
Yes. But who I have my hope in is never going to change or never going to go away. And so I have to have that in my life, and I have to trust that what he says is going to become what he said it will be. And that's how we have to see it.
What the Lord says is reality,
Yes.
not what we see with our eyes. Because what we see with our eyes, the enemy can create illusions based upon our emotions.
Oh, that is exactly right. Oftentimes, Larry, that's what we do, though. We are judged and we are moving by what we see. We don't move.
Outside stimulants.
Yes. Yes. Believe is not what you see. Believing is not that. Believing is knowing without a doubt in your heart that it's going to be that which you want
Based
it to
upon
be.
the word of God.
Yes.
So now your knee is torn up. Your career is all of the clapping, all of the rah-rah, all of the spotlights, all of the interviews, all of the scouts. They're no longer.
Yeah. All the bright lights, they're gone.
Now, ooh,
They're gone. All the bright lights are gone. So now, you know, I become the light that God wants me to become to bring.
oh, now that's deep. Now hold on. You know you're smarter than I am. I'll go ahead and tell people that anyway, or at least I tell you that so you can believe it. You know, the light is gone. Now you have to become the light that
Yes.
Jesus Christ wants you to become.
Right.
Now that's powerful.
Yes. You know, we have to understand that if you say that God lives inside of you, the question is, why aren't you walking like he walked?
You become the light
Yes.
that he shineth through.
That's right.
That's powerful.
We are that light. We are that light.
So what you're saying is, are you saying that the Lord sometimes has to take things away from us, prune us, in order to really get the best out of us, his created purpose out of us?
Yes. What I thought would get me where I wanted to get to was football. No. What that was and what that did for me was allow me to get used to running. That's the piece that I got out of that.
Wow, stamina.
Yes, I had to have the energy and the stamina to keep going. And
In life.
yes, I saw the goalpost and I ran towards that. And in our life today, Jesus has to be the goalpost. We need to be running towards him, not running away from him. We run towards him now. I was running, but I wasn't running in the right direction.
And you were running for the world. And who would ever, my uncle used to say, who would ever thought that now you're senior pastor of a church in rural Mississippi, in Utica, Mississippi, Morning
right.
Star.
That's right.
You wouldn't have wrote that in your life when you were in high school or in college.
No, that would never have been a thought in my mind. Even to this day, I was at church Sunday. Even to this day, you know, with the small congregation I have now, You know, sometimes I often wonder, well, God, why am I still here here? And then I had to say, well, why not? You know, He still got work for me to do here. He doesn't want me to go anyplace else. He wants me here.
Because it's interesting because I know people constantly pull on you.
Yes.
They pull on you, come here, come there, come here. We want to get you to want you to consult here. I mean, you're all over the place, you know, but God keeps you here. How important is it to know where God has purposed you and be content in that?
When you know, you know. It's like knowing your name. When you know that it's God's purpose and it's His intention, you'll know.
But you got to be careful because the enemy is constantly trying to get you to walk out of God's will.
Yeah, but
with enticements.
And listen, if you're not in His Word every day, you're going to be tempted, and there's a chance of you going out to do what the enemy wants you to do. You have to stay in His Word. His Word is the bread and butter. His Word is that energy drink that you need to take every day that some of you take. His word is the medicine that you take to help keep you going every day, that you think keep you going. You get in His Word.
And let me tell you something. If the enemy will make an attempt to tempt Jesus, and he did, you've been fasting 40 days. Turn his bread into stone. I mean, turn his stones into bread. Well, I tell you what, if you jump off the cliff, I'll give you the world. You know, if you bow down and worship me, and all this stuff will be. If he'll tempt Jesus, if the enemy will make an attempt to tempt Jesus, you know he'll do the same for us.
That's right.
And so you have to be strong in His Word. My friend, ladies and gentlemen, is Dr. Richard Wesley Lynn. He hails from Augusta, Georgia, the home of James Brown, the hardest man in show business. Stay tuned. And so you're saying that we're all going to have ups and downs. It's not if, but what do you do when you get hit hard in life?
Yeah. What do you do? You know, and your focus, and I go back to the running part, because when I ran as a football player, I was running towards the goal line, the goal post. I realized when I got there, that would be the victory for me, okay? And so I had to have something tangible, and that's what God did to me. He gave me something tangible that I can look at and go towards and relate that back to what He wants me to do. Now, what He's wanting me to do now is knowing the Word. He had to groom me to get into His Word, just like I had to do in the football. I had to learn the plays in order to run the plays and to be good. So
like football, you're having to run God's play.
Yes.
And His playbook is His Word.
That's right. That's exactly right. So I had to do that.
Because if you don't know the plays, you'll just be running.
I'm just running and run all over the place. But I had to learn to play. What play we're going to run? You know, sweet right. Well, what was sweet right? That was the play, and we're going to go right, okay? And so God got me used to learning how to follow the playbook. Now the playbook is His Word. Now I followed His Word, and I'm using His Word to tell me where I need to go and what play to run today. Who should I talk to today? How can I build somebody up today? How can I help somebody today? That's the playbook.
So you're recruited by count 36 colleges, Ivy League schools, your D1 schools, and you're recruited Dallas Cowboys. You tear up your knee. Well, that's over.
Right.
Now you go into corporate. You purchase 5 restaurants. You run a chain of restaurants. But now the rug is pulled from on you. You have to close those. Do you get to a point that you're like, what, God? What? What? I mean, do I have a target on my back for failure? What, God? Because there are folk who try, but it seems like every time they get up, Richard, they get hit again. And they're like, what, God?
Yeah, failure for man is a victory for God. Okay? So what I mean by that.
All right, Mr. Academic Dean, go ahead.
What I mean by that.
Mr. Academic Dean.
Sometimes God wants us knocked down so that we can depend on him to get us up. And he won't let anybody else pick us up. He wants to be the one to pick us up. That's why he said you'll fall down 7 times, but you'll get up. So you have to understand failure for man is different because it's victory for God. God has to put us down sometime and let us fall so that we can depend on nobody else but him to get up. If that makes sense to you.
Wow. Mm-hmm. You just provoked a thought. Hello, Pastor. I see you, man, all the way from Vicksburg, Mississippi. I hope you're doing well, man. Thanks for joining us. Always appreciate you, man. And thank God you extended to me the privilege of lecturing this past weekend in the leadership conference. I don't take that lightly. You said the Lord sometimes orchestrate our failures so as to detach ourselves from the world and become more dependent on him. You inspired a thought. Jesus went to the man at the pool of Bethesda, some pronunciation Bethesda, for 38 years. Jesus looked at the man and asked him and said, do you want to be made whole? The man, it was a rhetorical question, didn't really need an answer. Jesus knew the answer.
Right.
But he wanted the man to internalize, why are you really here? And the man says, well, every time, once a year, the angel come and trouble the water, miracle water,
right?
And somebody jumps in front of me. And Jesus said, get up and walk. He didn't even entertain the response.
Right.
He just told the man to get up and walk. How many of us entertain obstacles when we're talking to Jesus? In other words, we're telling Jesus how big our problems are.
Yeah.
Rather than telling our problems how big our God is.
Yeah. Larry, a fireman can never put out a fire without having water, access to water, and his other equipment that he needs to put out that fire. We'll never be able to be sustainable on our own without Jesus, the power that he has for us. The concern I have with mankind is Jesus has laid out everything that we need to become successful in our daily lives and being who he called us to become. Everything is in his word. How, you tell me, how can a fireman put out a fire without water? How? How is it possible? How is it possible for somebody to become or speak to the mountain and tell that mountain to move if they don't know that that's what they've been given the power to do?
What I hear you saying is we're created by God. We're God's creation. He's our creator. How is it possible for us to live absent from him?
Right.
If he is our creator.
That's right.
If he is our sustainer, how is it possible for us to live effectively, efficiently, successfully detached from him, detached from our life source?
If we say, and the scripture talks about that, if we say that he lives in us, then how come we're not walking as he walked?
Or exude the power that he has.
Same thing. How and why are we not doing the same thing that he did?
One, we're detached. Number two, we don't really believe in God's word. And number three, as you said, we don't study the play manual.
Right. We don't even know where it is. How many you asked? You can go down the street and ask 5 people, hey, do you know where I can find a Bible? Not one person will be able to tell you that right off. You probably wouldn't get, out of 10 people, you probably wouldn't get but one person if you got that one person.
I say this. I say that, the Lord, whatever you spend your time on, that's what you most treasure. You can't even argue that point. Whatever or whomever you spend your time on or with, then that's whom you most treasure. How much do we spend how much time a day do we spend with the Lord?
Well,
That's where our power.
yeah.
That's our power source.
That's right. I mean, I said that earlier. I said, 24 hours. God gave us 24 hours. 24 hours. What did we do with it? How much time did we spend with Him? How much time did we read His Word? How much time? I started to do an assessment every day when I get on my knees. How much time I spent talking about the Lord, reviewing His Word. What did I do with the time that He gave me today? What did I do? And how much of that time?
Let me ask you this. So when people get a copy, first of all, how can they get a copy of this book?
Amazon. They can go to Amazon and get that. It's ready to go.
Holding on when it doesn't look good. When people read this, what are they? And I've read it. Mine looked like an English paper that I had bad grammar. Yeah. Is all marked up and notes. I've read it 2 or 3 times. When people, what can they expect? What's the takeaway from this book?
Well, to hold
when
on,
they read this,
when you hold on, you're holding on to something, and the moral of this book is to allow you to say to think that you're holding on to for God to be able to come through like He said He would.
Oh wow!
And so when you know that you're going through some stuff, and you're going to go through that, He said you're going to go through some stuff. But He also said that He's going to be there to get you out of it and to make sure that you don't have to worry about a thing.
I said this on the podcast, and it really came. I saw the book, and I said, why did He choose this picture? Why did He choose? Until I started really, really looking. This is a surfer. He's in the middle of an ocean with his surfboard. He's falling off of this. I mean, he's being conquered by the waves. Now, let me tell you my takeaway.
Go ahead.
People may have different takeaways. But he's being overtaken by the waves.
Mm-hmm. Right.
That's kind of scary.
Right.
Until I looked closer. I looked at his feet, particularly his left foot, and I noticed that it's strapped to the surfboard.
Mm-hmm.
So even when he falls, not if he falls, as a surfer, when he falls, he is secured on his lifeline.
That's right.
His surfboard is his lifeline. And I said, Richard is sending a subliminal message that Jesus is our lifeline. That even when you fall in life and you're overcome by the ways of life.
That's right.
If you're attached to that, if you're anchored to your surfboard, you'll be battered, but you'll survive it.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Did I hit it on the head?
You did, and
I should be your publicist.
You listen.
I won't charge
how much you charge.
That much.
Okay. But that's it. You hit it on the head, man. That's it. And just like having a life jacket.
He's our life jacket.
Yes.
He's our parachute.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm about to get a little theological on you now. You saw my seminary training. He's our parakletos.
Oh, Lord.
Where we get the word parachute. I'll say, I'm coming your way, Mr. Dean.
All right.
I don't want you to take me in too deep of water.
All right.
And get me lost in some Greek stuff.
All right.
But this is your first book, your very first book. All right?
Yeah.
Pastoral Counseling of Today. What was the motivation of this book? How can people get Amazon as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the reason why I did that is so many pastors were going through some things and they did not know, especially young pastors, they didn't know that they are counselors. And so they didn't know how to counsel people. So they were sending people away to other folks. Well, God made you a counselor, and the Bible is the record book and the study book for any counseling that you're going to need.
Wow.
So I wrote that book so that they'll have something to go through and look at.
Well,
It's a roadmap.
One of your goddaughters that happened to be in Missouri, she's looking at the program right now. You know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah.
She said hi.
Oh.
She put exclamation behind your name.
Wow.
Uncle Richard.
That's right.
You're such a blessing to our children, man.
Thank God.
You care for them. And so what has sustained you in life, even through all of the ebbs and flows, you're saying you're not angry at God. As a part of your testimony, your knee is ripped up. Because I'm gonna tell you something. Had your knee was ripped up, but had that not happened, you and I would not have met.
That's right. That's exactly
You
right.
would have been some Hall of Famer living the big life and passing by me and throwing breadcrumbs out on the street.
Hmm.
I would have taken a rock and hit your car with it.
Yeah, there's no telling where I would have been at and what I would have been done. Yeah, I can't even imagine who I would have become and what.
God has to
Yeah.
interrupt, but you're finding peace.
Yes.
Because even as long as I've known you, man, I can count on one hand. Probably can use 2 or 3 fingers. The times that I've really seen you angry. And I've seen you go through some storms. But I haven't seen you accusatory. I haven't seen you pointing fingers. I haven't seen you wave your fists at God. Where does that strength and resilience come from?
Well, I was raised with some of that. My mom, if and you met my mom and my dad, but my mom really laid down a roadmap for us to look at. If we just wanted to see how it looked, she was that mirror that we had that we could go to. Because for somebody to have 10 kids, Larry, 10 kids, and not one day did we ever go without food. Not one day. And we had hand me downs. What my other brothers couldn't wear, we passed it on down. It didn't go in the trash can. It went all the way down to the last person before we throw anything away, clothing wise. So that strength that she had, and she will always say, no matter what we were going through, and we had some tough days, no matter what we were going through, she said, but Jesus. She will always say, Jesus. Always say Jesus. And when I was going away from home, she said, baby, always remember Jesus. Always take him with you. Don't forget Jesus now. And she will always say that. So at the time, I didn't realize really the meaning behind that. I just heard it and didn't hear it. So, but I saw that. And then as things started to happen in my life, and she would always tell me, stay on your knees. And then when I call her, she'll say, how did you know I just got through praying for you? And so it was my mom and her strength in God that gave me the example of how he works in our lives.
So for those that are, and I'm going to give you 2 different perspectives to speak to. For that person that's going up the ladder, they're high achievers. They're accumulating a lot of material things. And they feel like what they are achieving is a symbol of their success. And they don't necessarily have a good relationship with the Lord. But why do I need God? Because I got stuff. How would you speak to that? How would you speak to that person?
Yeah, for a moment, you have that. For a moment, what would happen when it's taken away? What do you have? Material stuff is short-lived. God is long-lasting, everlasting. If you get him in your life, you got all you
He's
need.
eternal.
He's that. He's everything. Listen, there's no substitute for joy, peace. There's no substitute for those 2 things in your life. None. And until you get to that point, when you get to a point in your life where you know that, hey, I'm comfortable, I have peace, I'm good. You hear people say that all the time. You ask them, what can I help you with? Oh, I'm good. I'm good. Really? And let me give you the, no, I'm good. I'm serious. They're at peace.
Paul says, I've learned to be content in whatsoever state I'm in. I've learned how to joy in being abound. I learned how to joy in being abased. In other words, I've had it and I haven't had it.
Yeah.
You can say the same thing, can't you? You can say you've walked around as pocket change with thousands of dollars, but then you've walked around with no money.
No, that's right.
But it seems to me that when you had no money and you had the Lord, you were more wealthy than any other time.
Oh, yeah.
That's kind of an oxymoron because you realize that your hope and peace is not found in the accumulation of things, but is found in the Lord.
You know, the book that I wrote, Holding On When It Don't Look Good, that sometimes when we hold on, and most people are holding on to something even today. They're holding on to something. The question is, what is it? Is it God? is it your faith in God and your desire and know that He's going to bring you through, so you're holding on that hope that He has, that you has for Him? Or is it that you just hope but you don't know why you have hope? Which one? And most people won't be able to tell you that. If you ask them, what are you holding on to? And why are you holding on to it? Why? They won't be able to tell you, Larry. And what I learned of all of that was what I was holding on to when things were bad was the hope that Mama told me 100 years ago, 20, 30 years ago. She's gone now. But the things she told me that I was going to get, I got. What she told me I was going to be, that's where I'm at. So
Peace.
I was peace.
Stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. My friend, Richard Lynn. Jesus asked the rhetorical question, what shall it profit a man to gain the whole world and lose his soul, and what shall a man get in exchange for his soul? You know of the story that this rich man was so wealthy, he looked around and looked at his commodities in this barn, in this silo, and said, boy, I have all this stuff, and I'm accumulating more stuff. What am I going to do with it? Rather than sharing, he said, the Bible says he said to himself, I think I'll build a bigger barn. The Holy Spirit came to him and said, fool, your soul is going to be required of you tonight.
That's right. It's amazing that you said that, because in my house right now, I was doing some remodeling, still doing it, but I got some shoes.
Do you ever finish remodeling that house?
No, it's going to take another year. But
I know, hey, because I know your wife, man. She won't. She's a. I want to add this and I add that.
I hope she's
and
not.
Your response is, yes, dear.
You're so right.
But, hold that thought, man. My guest today is Dr. Richard Wesley Lynn. He hails from Augusta, Georgia, the home of James Brown, the hardest working man in show business. I'm going to quit associating Augusta, Georgia with the home of James Brown, the hardest man. I'm going to say Augusta, Georgia, the home of Dr. Richard Wesley Lynn, the most gracious man that I know.
Yeah, you know, I was for whatever reason, man, I was remembering the times that I had to come through some stuff, and Larry, I tell you, man, it was tough. But I remember some things you and I was going through, and you used to tell me some things that you were going through, and we used to have those talks, and I said, Larry, don't give up, man. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be okay. And you'll be saying to me, you'll say, man, I don't see it, Richard. Man, I'm tired of this, man. It's gonna be all right, man. It's gonna be all right. And so, and at the time, I know sometimes you didn't see it, but you finally got it. And I remember the day that you finally got it, man. And I was so happy. And I never told you that, but I was so happy to know that he finally got it, man.
Well, you know, I've said this, and I said this on the podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, again, I invite you to watch the podcast tomorrow on IgniteMS.tv at 11 o'clock on our network. Of course, any other digital platform, iTunes, Apple, Pandora, Podbean, whatever it is, YouTube, Facebook, whatever it is, you can go out and watch the podcast. And, of course, you can go back to Defining Moments with Larry Nix on YouTube and Facebook. And, of course, you can stream our radio program on Tuesdays and Thursdays. You're going to be blessed. But I said that it is important that you have at least one person in your life that will tell you the truth, that will pull your coattail, that will jump in the foxhole with you, and that will be with you as you weather the storm. There are not many people that will do it, but you need at least one person in your life that will tell you not only what you want to hear, but what you need to hear. And you've been that for me, you know, and that's why I've always told you, man, I've gotten the best end of this stick, because probably 90% of the, well, I won't say that. I was going to say 90% of that gray in your beard is probably mine, but no, they're not mine. Probably about 2% of them. You know?
Yeah, we'll count that.
Yeah. But for those, so you make sure, ladies and gentlemen, that you allow that person, that friend in your life. And let me tell you what a true friend is. A true friend is that person that's willing to put their friendship on the line to tell you the truth.
That's true.
That makes sense, doesn't it?
Yes.
A true friend is that person that's willing to put their friendship on the line to tell you the truth.
That's so true, Larry. I want to go back to something I said there a few minutes ago, and that was I bring up a reference to my parents, my mom in particular, because she was a praying woman. But I say that to say this to the people that may be struggling, because if you get into a family that's a praying family, some of the prayers that my mama prayed for me years ago are just now coming into fruition. Some of the things that mama said that she prayed, she was going to pray for me on, and it's starting to come. I see it to this day.
Yeah.
So prayer is important.
You can't ever let go of it.
So I say to somebody that's struggling, and I know you're going to get to this, but I say to somebody that's struggling and it don't look good and it's cloudy.
In fact, don't talk to me. Why don't you talk to them? Because I feel you need to. Why don't you talk to them, right?
If you're
talking to Mike so they can hear you.
If you're struggling and you don't know how you're going to get out of it, and every day it looks like it gets worse and worse and worse, I say to you, your struggle is almost over. If it's at a point now where it looks like it's boiling over, what do a pot of water does when it boils over? Eventually it goes away. And so your struggle is about to end. So now is not the time to give up. Now is not the time to say, that's it, I've had enough, I'm going to let it go, let's go. This is not the time. The worst point that you find that you're struggling in right now, if it's the worst point, hey, you're getting ready.
It's the best point.
Yes, it's at the best point.
If it's the worst point, it's the best point.
So you're getting ready now for your breakthrough. It's coming on through. So I say hold on.
The Word of God says, count it all joy when you go through divers temptation. James says, and knowing that the trying of your faith worketh patience, let patience have a perfect work, that you may be full and entire, wanting nothing. That's King James Version. In other words, the New International Version says, when you go through life's trials, don't think small of them,
right?
Knowing that God will use your trials to strengthen you, to prune you, to bear greater fruit.
Yes.
It doesn't feel comfortable. The things that I've gone through, the refining, the pruning that I've gone through in life, I don't want to go through it again, but I'm better off.
That's right. I'm a better an ambassador now for God than I was in the beginning.
As a result of going through. Listen, man, we only got about 30 seconds left. His books are Pastoral Counseling of Today and Holding On When It Doesn't Look Good. You can find both of these books on Amazon. You can tune in to his podcast. His podcast is titled, what? Podcast with Dr. Richard Lynn. Life with Dr. Richard Lynn.
Yeah.
Listen, I appreciate you, man. Thank God for you. You're a blessing. I appreciate your commitment to life. I appreciate your commitment to discipleship. I appreciate you for your friendship. Real Talk with Dr. Lynn.
Yes.
That's the name of your podcast. I was going to get it.
I was wondering.
I know you're waiting on me to get it.
Yeah.
I appreciate you, man.
Yeah, you said it once, and I was wondering if you're going to get it again.
Yeah,
so.
I was going to get it again, man. Okay. Where you buying lunch today?
All
right, let's move on. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Hey, man, appreciate you.
Thank you, Doc.
Love you, man. God bless you. Thank you so much, Kim, for punching the show today. You are a producer extraordinaire. Thank you. I look forward to you joining me on tomorrow and Thursday at 11 o'clock on Defining Moments. Know that the Lord loves you and you matter.
Hey, my name is